just quickly run through what we're going to look at. Okay, so we're going to quickly do an overview of the GD program, look at the credentials that you're going to achieve through completing it, recognition, acceptance, and some success stories of students, as well as how you as a student can start your GD journey. Now, if we look at it, the GD was created in 1942 as a second chance opportunity. And today, the GD is dedicated to continue lifting the lives of learners globally. We currently have over 21 million graduates around the world, and internationally, we have students across over 100 countries. The GD is a joint venture between the American Council of Education and Pearson, which is an international education organization. When students achieve their GD, international students receive their diploma, which is issued by the Office of the State Superintendent of Education in Washington, D.C. So how that works is in the U.S., every state issues a diploma. Internationally, Washington, D.C. issues all GD credentials to our international students. You do still complete the same GD. It is the same credential. So you would get the same diploma as students in Washington, D.C. Another great fact is 98% of U.S. colleges and universities accept GD graduates, as well as many around the world. Now, in 2014, which seems like quite a while ago now, a new GD test was launched, which was then launched internationally in 2017. And what's really great about this new test is it looks at critical thinking skills, problem solving, and close reading skills. Those are required for students to achieve the GD, and it requires students to use evidence-based writing. Now, what is great about this, and it's similar to your British A-levels, is it gets students to think outside of the box. So it prepares students to the new world of further studies and work, where it's not just rote learning. It's understanding concepts and applying them within various situations, which really is the skills we need to be successful in life. Now let's just look at the test. And obviously I'm going outside the slides, but it's just providing reference. So the GD test is made up of 4 tests. But within those 4 tests are multiple subjects, and we'll do a quick glance through of each subject. Now, the tests are delivered in English, and internationally they need to be completed at a Pearson VUE accredited testing center, of which generally there are in your area. We have well over 300 testing centers around the world in most countries, as well as multiple test centers in certain countries. Now, for every subject, the maximum score is 200, and you need to earn 145 as a minimum to pass. Now, because the GD makes use of critical thinking skills and the way it's created, you can't take that 145 and change it to a percentage. That's not how the test is structured. If you did, off the top of your head, you would need to get more than 70%, but we can't convert it to a percentage. Now, the 4 subjects are reasoning through language arts or English, mathematical reasoning, social studies, and science. If we go a little bit deeper, the RLA test looks at reading, writing. Part of it, the RLA or English test, is an argumentative essay, which almost, if you think of a lawyer, there's two opposing texts, and you need to be able to see which one is the right opinion, and through your essay, justify it. So it's really those argumentative writing skills. You then have your math reasoning test, which looks at algebraic as well as quantitative problem solving. Internationally, you get an on-screen calculator. So you may not take a calculator into the test, but formula page, symbols, and a calculator page is provided. You also will get either a whiteboard or a piece of paper to work out any of your calculations. The social studies test, and this is some where it also uses those critical thinking skills. It covers American civics and government, US history, economics, and geography of the world. A lot of students like to start with the social studies test as their first subject because it gives you a lot of those good reading skills needed to pass the English test. What's great about the GD is you can do one subject at a time, test in that subject, pass, and then move on to a next subject. Science looks at life science, physical science, and earth science, and where needed, an on-screen calculator is also provided. Now, what does the test actually look like? So the test uses multiple choice as well as fill in the blank, drop and drag, and then you have your extended response. Now, it's also important that you are familiar with testing on a computer. We do have videos with tutorial videos that help you with what the test looks like, practicing how to navigate the on-screen calculator, how to do all the functions needed in the test. So you're fully prepared. But now, what credentials are you going to get once you've passed all 4 subjects? So as I mentioned, your diploma is issued by Washington, D.C., as well as your transcript, which lists all of your subjects. The percentile rank is not the percentage, it's a percentile rank where you achieved within all students writing that test. Now, when you complete your GED, you are emailed electronic copies, you emailed a link to download electronic copies of your diploma and transcript. You can request hard copies if you need, as well as there is a function if you're, let's say, applying to a university and they want to verify it, you can request that it is sent directly from where we issue the transcript directly to the university. A lot of universities are familiar with that and they understand the whole electronic credential. You also receive a Credly badge, which you can display online. Now, I think something of importance to many students is the recognition and acceptance of the GED. If we just look at it in the United States, it's obviously recognized by the US Department of Education, as well as departments in every state. We also work very closely with governments around the world so that they recognize the GED, and with most of the evaluations, it is recognized as a grade 12 equivalent in countries around the world. And obviously, a grade 12 is often needed for further employment or further studies. Now, if we just, and I'm going to go through this quick because there's just so many. If we look at the universities internationally that accept the GED, you've got your main ones, your Columbia, your Harvard, your Princeton. These are all US based. Stanford, Duke. But you know what? Let's go and look at universities outside of the US, because we know now it can be a little bit challenging for students to get into the US at the moment. But we have a lot of students studying in countries in other continents. So obviously we've got our US, but in the UK is becoming the next most popular one. We have multiple universities in the UK where GED graduates have been accepted, as well as Canada, as well as Malaysia, and Australia, New Zealand, But when we're looking at it, we want to know actual people. It's great to see logos, but let's look at certain people. We've got students from around the world who have gone on to study, and doing the GED, it opens doors to multiple things. We're talking about further study now, but it also opens doors to a lot of employment opportunities. And what is great about the GED is that students can do it anywhere from the age of 16, 17. We've got some 80-year-olds studying the GED. So it really is seen as a great alternative or second chance opportunity. So let's look at some more students. We've got in Qatar, South Africa, Thailand, as well as some Myanmar. But now it's great seeing all of these success stories. But let's look at how you as a student can start your GED journey. The first thing to do is to sign up a free GED.com account. There's no charge, and what it gives you access to is every student doing the GED needs to create their own free GED account. Once you've created your account, it gives you access to some free learning resources, some free practice tests, as well as it is the portal where you will go to book your tests, get your scores, get your score reports. And on it, you can also, on the website, even if you're not logged on, you can look at the test policies that are specific to your country. Now, if we look at Ivory Coast, it falls under the classification of other countries. So when you're looking at test policies, you would look under other countries. But if you're looking at where to test, you'd go and you would type in Ivory Coast or Côte d'Ivoire, and you can see there's one in Abidjan. You can also type in countries on where you're thinking of studying further, and it will give you a list of institutions where GED students have been accepted. Now, this has been a lot of information in a very short space of time. And what we can do is, obviously, if you do have any questions, answer the questions at the end. But I didn't want to take all the time away because I know we have another presentation coming up. Thanks. Over to you, Jeffrey.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Samuel Jeffrey, and I'm a representative for the WAAPC, but the pronunciation is WAAPC. So for Marisa, that's the pronunciation for the abbreviation. Right. So just a moment. Okay. So the WAAPC group, which is the West African Academics Professional Center, started as a test preparatory center for TOEFL, IELTS, English program in Abidjan. And our main target group is high school students and other corporate institutions to help Francophone students who are probably not immersed in the English system or probably have a taste to learn English would have the opportunity to advance and improve on their career path, and then make sure they're able to secure some job opportunities that are around the globe and all that. So we gradually transition into becoming let's say a test preparatory center for GED in 2024 by March, where we got our accreditation to be an authorized test preparatory center. And then ever since, it's been, one success story onto the next. We started our first GED with just one student, and then we moved on to 2024, 2025 academic year with about 6 students registering for the GED. So we currently have about 4 students sitting for the GED with a few lapses in the system, but then they should finish up latest by the end of this month. And our first GED graduate actually excelled beautifully with a least score of 158. I was in the GED mathematics. Thanks to our faculty members who actually did a great job then, and the current group of GED students are also transitioning calmly and quietly in the program, and then we expect that at least all of them would pass and then move on to their respective universities. Now, with WAPC, we have a very simple mission. Our mission is to provide quality but affordable Anglophone or let's say English education, something that we envision given opportunity to, let's say, families who are not able to afford standard American education or standard IB, for example, or Cambridge, for example, but then they would be able to go for a program like GED. For example, we understand that there are neurodiverse students and different capacities in terms of brain power. And then we understand that some of them would not be able to go through rigorous systems like the IB or the Cambridge, and then the GED becomes a perfect option for them. And then we are proud to be the main vehicle carrying this mission on the West African bloc in Africa. Now, our model is quite simple. What we understand is that as far as we're in a francophone country, most students will definitely come to us with maybe a zero English level, or probably, let's say, a capable English level, or maybe a proficient level. What we do is that we try to put these students through an English proficiency test, try to put them in the proper place, at least before they start their GED journey with us. So our English training lasts for a period of 2 months, which is quite intensive. Uh, we put them in different groups to make sure that they have tailored and specific trainings from our faculty members so that after 2 months they can transition into the GED phase where it becomes more rigorous and there wouldn't be any time for intentional English learning as the case would be. Now, after the 2 months, we move them into the GED class where they begin to go through the four GED subjects: the science, the maths, the social studies, and then the RLA, which is the reading through language and arts program. And then they go through a lot of phases. Now, what happens is we do not just keep our students in the classroom. We try to model a little bit of the IB concept or the AP capstone program, where we expect that while our students are going through a 4 month training, they also come up with personal projects, choosing a project they would want to do, maybe service action to communities where they would want to maybe organize a reading club with an NGO, orphanage home, go to the streets and go clean up, donate items to maybe the hospitals or the orphanage homes. And that is to just let them understand that they would have to always understand a need in society that they would have to give back to as they go through the education phase. So they do this in addition to going through the GED program with us. And then at the same time, we also give students the opportunity to choose some few AP programs. We are an AP, I would say an AP accredited school, level one school code. So we have the opportunity to let our students go through some AP programs. Not, it's optional. We don't expect them to compulsorily go through it at the same time while they're going through the GED, but then they could earn some college credits in addition to the GED transcript and the certificate that will be given to them. And that is how we go about in terms of the rigorous academic work that we give to our students. Then we also expect that because they went through the English training, we expect that at the end of the program, they will be taking English proficiency tests and then academic standardized tests such as SAT or ACT, and then English proficiency tests such as TOEFL or IELTS, or maybe even Duolingo. So we try to also offer that support to make sure that their credentials become more whole, so that if they would have to transition into a university or a college abroad, they would really qualify for, I mean, the expectation or the standard that the university or the colleges actually expect. Then the other criteria in our program is that criterion in our program is that while you go through the rigorous academic standard, we actually make it mandatory that all students would have to go through an internship program for at least a month, where we try to issue a little bit of note or a certificate to prove that beyond classroom work, beyond classroom work and personal project works, this person has actually also gone through a little bit of professional exposure by doing internship with any of the Ivorian communities. Now, we've been able to collaborate with few enterprises in Abidjan, especially where they are able to accept our students to come for internship. Currently, I think we had last cohort finishing with one of the multimedia companies that we have in the city of Abidjan. And I mean, they enjoyed their moment. Their parents also appreciated the effort that we put in to make sure that their students are also going up in their education. Then the purpose of doing this is to ensure that if these people or these students finish their GED program with WAPC, assuming they would not be able to immediately transition into universities, they would have the chance to work because the GED works actually enables GED graduates to also be able to go through employment with other companies anywhere in the world. And Cote d'Ivoire, Abidjan wouldn't be an exception to that case. Now, we also have a faculty or a department that actually deals with university admissions. And then we're in partnership with March or Concourse, where our students' profile are actually listed. And then universities come up to actually select them based on their performance, based on their GED scores, based on their progress report as they studied with us in the course of, let's say, 6 months, and then provide them scholarships, not 100% scholarships, but sometimes 50%, sometimes 70%, depending on what the schools could offer. Now, even though we know that GED on its own has selected schools that are accepting the GED, we also go the extra mile to try to provide the students these opportunities of getting listed elsewhere where they could have equal opportunity to study with their GED credential elsewhere in the world. So ours, I would say, is not really limited to the US or Canada or UK, but then we try to liaise with schools that will be able to accept the GED, in addition to they have an AP, TOEFL, IELTS, Duolingo, SAT, and the likes of other necessary documents that they would need to support their admissions. Now, locally, we've been able to partner with about 3 private universities, not government, private universities that are ready to accept our GED graduates. And we're currently trying to work with them to see how they could actually reach out to the GED team abroad and get listed on GED's website so that it wouldn't be more like a B2B thing, but then becomes globally known that these schools in Abidjan also accept students who actually have the GED credential. So we have a wonderful faculty team members, and myself, I support the English teaching the RLA and other SAT and TOEFL preparatory classes. We have Mr. Luis Asante, who happens to actually be here, but for some reason could not show up his face, but I believe he is actually a bachelor degree holder in integrated science from the University of Winneba in Ghana. We have Mr. Aloysius, who also is a graduate from a university in Nigeria and handles more like science-oriented programs and also the GED mathematics for us. We have Miss Marilyn Kaku, who is our admission counselor, helping students with the admission in our educational setup. And then we have Mr. Nathan Adingra, who is in charge of academics, making sure that he tracks all the academic records of students when they come to us from the beginning till the end and when they leave our system. So in all, we have about 7 GED students that have gone through our system. We have successfully had 1 graduate. We have 4 more pending. We have others who came to us, but then for some reason they had to change country, so they left. But then in all, we would say we have about 7 students that have come to us for GED in a space of, let's say, 1 year, I would say. And then we expect more. We see others, I mean, trying to show more interest, especially from countries like Ghana and all that. And then we just with open arms, trying to welcome them and trying to help them to choose what is best for them and then make sure that their future is also secure and they can progress with whatever they would want to pursue in life. Now, in Abidjan, we are located in Angre Nouveau Chou. You can visit our website. Our contacts are displayed on the PowerPoint, and we expect that anybody in Abidjan, whether from far in Ghana, could reach out to us because we also provide online training, even though GED also provides all these, but then we also provide GED online support where we equally provide the same opportunities that those who walk into our premises would enjoy to those who would also contact us through our online portals. And yes, we're working and then we're expecting to expand GED into the neighboring countries like Liberia, Ghana, and all that, hopefully with the support of GED as a parent organization. And then we believe that through our mission and vision, Africa and West Africa would also enjoy some quality but affordable opportunity to also grow and really close the gap with, let's say, students that fall out of school due to family situations, ailments, and the likes of either other economic disabilities. Thank you.